law signs or law cosines? Gotta be cosines. So on this end, I'm gonna have cosine R. On this end, I'm going to have 20 squared. What's gonna be in between all that then? 16 squared plus 18 squared minus 2 times 16 times 18. That's cosine R. Some of you are leaving stuff out in your law cosines, like that plus sign or that minus sign. Make sure that you got all the pieces in there. All right, what do you think we should do here? We got to figure this out. What do you want to do? You can add these two together. Yeah, I can do that. So I've got 400 equal to these two. If I did it right, make 580. All right, now what? You could subtract the 580. Things, or if you prefer, you could multiply them all together and divide by that number, whatever works for you. But you should get 0.3125 when you divide all this stuff over, right?
Is it not inverse cosine?
Then I'm gonna inverse cosine now, because that 0.3125 is the cosine of R, and I want angle R, so I'm going to have to inverse cosine that. And I got 71.79 degrees.
Number 4.
4
Yeah.
is a parallelogram. And the first thing we have to do is find AC. So AC will be this diagonal. I'll call it X. You're not doing area. You're finding X. So it's going to be sines or cosines, one or the other. So Michael says he thinks it's cosines. Is this angle up here is 122? So x squared equals 6 squared plus 14 squared minus 2, 6, 14 cosine 122. Does that look okay to everybody? This one, make sure you remember after you get it all, you just type all that in. Make sure you square root it. So I got 17.92. And there's no units, often those have units, but I don't have any, so 17.92. Is that all right with everybody? And then it says, find the area of that thing. So I'll just find the area of the top triangle or the bottom triangle, it doesn't matter, and what. So how do I find the area of the triangle? 1/2 side sine and then I'll double it. And I got 71.24. 494. Jimmy?
Could you also do the other formula and then multiply it by two?
Not the best idea, because this has been rounded off. And I want you to think about that for a minute. When I do heroes formula, S is all of those added up, right? So the round off error is built in 4 times.
Yeah.
Then it's also one of the sides, either A, B, or C. So if you choose to do Hero's formula, you are multiplying your round off error 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and it's squaring. So, not a good idea. Use Hero only when you've been given, like here, we were given all the sides, then you use Hero. Otherwise, no.
Okay.
Too much round off error.
How would you find, diagonal?
Work with.
Okay, so we talked about that the other day. What if instead of AC, we wanted BD? Well, now 122 becomes unusable, right? So 122 is out of the picture. But luckily, what do we know about consecutive angles in a parallelogram? Supplementary. So this one is 122, this one would be 58, is my math right?
Yeah.
And then you would just do all cosines. Never, you don't know anything about that. 122 becomes gone. It does not cut in half. The only time it's cut in half is if these two sides match, then they don't, so it isn't even cut in half. If you're gonna draw a line through your 122, blow it out and use the other angle. And the other angle will be 181. 3. I have a regular nonagon. What's that? 9 sides. So it is striped in a circle. So here's my circle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So here's my nonagon. Quit kicking my toes. And the radius is 12. Well, I can't do anything until I figure out what. What do I need to figure out? I need to figure out that guy right there. And how big will he be? 40. Why is he 40? 360 divided by 9. Now, if I'm doing area, this is a no-brainer. Because area will be 1/2, 12, 12, sine 40. Right? And then I times it by 9. I got for the whole shebang, I got 416.53. Now, what about perimeter? Perimeter means I need this side right here, don't I? I'm still gonna times it by 9, but I need to find a side. To find a side, we use the law of sines or the law of cosines. So what do you think? Cosine? So x squared equals 12 squared plus 12 squared minus 2 obviously I need to square root that, don't forget to square root it. So this is 8.208. But then I just take that number right off my calculator and hit times 9. And our perimeter, 73.88, if I run meters 100. Okay? Chances are your quiz will not be an octagon. It'll probably be maybe a octagon, which means what? It's everything the same, only 8. Or pentagon, everything the same, only 5. Or hexagon, right? So the strategy is the same. You have to pay attention to what shape you've got. Alright, anything else? Alright, then we're gonna have you come to the board. If your packet is still stapled together, or if not, you have one more page.
What's this?
Called Precal A Quiz. You are amazing. Grade 1's amazing. Yeah, we already did one of the problems on this page, but now I would like a volunteer or team of volunteers to come up and do problem 1, and then another team or individual to do problem 3, because we already did 2. So we're on this practice sheet. It says quiz 5.5 to 5.6, period 1 is amazing. And I need somebody to do 1 and somebody to do 2.
You can do it in a team, right?
Do it as a team. There isn't a lot of room, so we don't want to get too. All right, 3's done. We need somebody to do 1.
I can do one.
All right, thank you.
Anybody want to go first? We just did it.
Come on, Chuck.
It's like that.
You can do this. Let them help. You need some more support.
Cover and half, or time to cut two.
You want to get a quick gray on this one. Now we have 2 more units. One is pretty easy. The other one is a little more challenging. What happens with the last
Beautiful.
one is seniors and people losing arm.
I will. Wait, so what happens when those grades go down? Did she say it's easier?
No, it's not that hard, but seniors really get lazy and the grades go like this.
And how much seniors do I have?
0.
The laws.
What was that?
Oh, it was.
What the heck?
Yes, it was weird. The diagram's like.
You had that.
And I took it out. Get her? Are you good? I'm kind of sad.
It's right here.
Yeah.
Yeah, what are we trying to find? Oh, just 15.
No,
Voice retake.
I was gonna
Okay, boys who are just sitting around,
Wait, no, I didn't.
do these problems.
So now we have to find an area. Yeah, we're trying to do areas.
It's the area of both things.
Just go side, or one half side, side.
Just go do one half.
Zip around.
Oh,
I'd still do it just in case.
And I was like, my mom told me yesterday.
This would be a fun thing.
So shy.
That's what
Zip around.
Problem number 3. The girls said one triangle possible. You guys want to explain that? How do you get this one, girls?
You get your angle, you get B, which is 32.64, and then you subtract that from 180, and then you get 147.36, and then you add that to 39, and you get over 180.
Perfect. Beautiful. So, boys, what did you end up with? Yeah, that looks good.
Yeah, it
So
does
what
hard.
did the boys do? They split it into triangles and did one half side, side, side.
Yeah.
Yeah. We didn't really need to find
Yeah, I don't know
that.
why we found that. We figured that
That's
out.
excellent.
They did a little extra credit on the quiz.
It's all good.
Does anybody have any
so confused.
questions?
Oh, we did it.
Yeah, we did.
Anybody have a question about that?
Extra practice.
All right, let's turn it over. Now, one thing about the back side is, make sure you know what you're doing here. What are we looking for in number 4? What?
Third side.
Side, we're looking for a side. So don't do area. I know you're tempted, but don't do area. You have to do either log signs or cosines. Okay, what about number 5? Yes.
Tip, man.
Now we're trying to find an angle.
Who's your teacher in this period? Like, grab a napkin and take him a treat too. Take him what you think he's on. All right, so in number 4, we're finding side B. So it's a law signs or cosines problem. What are we finding in number 5? Angle A. So it's a law of sines or cosines formula. Do not do hero for number 5. You aren't doing area. You're finding an angle. An angle will be law of sines or cosines. So, soon as we get 4 and 5 up on the board and done, all shut up. Alright? So, erase what the kids did up there already.
I'll do 4.
Ready to go. No, let Brady go. Brady go.
Ready to
We do 4.
He's already on board. Do 5.
I'm like, my first year.
Watch me take rain.
Kind of takes me a while.
Like what? So then for the rest of this, I'm sure you got like other stuff to keep So instead of players, I just like took it out to mine and stuff.
I forgot to square
But my interpretation is agreeing
It's like 3, but it's not.
it's mine's normal, but it's just different. Green is in between. It's like in the terms of grass, it's a healthier version of grass.
I should see pencils moving, Morgan.
How did you get it from law?
What'd you get for 5? What'd you get for 5? What'd you get for 5?
Probably my calculator.
Huh?
Jimmy, all
Oh, we never mind.
Cindy, are you guys working?
Yeah.
What'd you get for 5?
Hard. Come on top.
Yeah, I know, you can tell, we will not make it happen. Next time we have a quest, we need to be locked in.
Braden's got so bad, I can feel it.
No, it's like you're doing quite all right.
That is weird though that you got. I don't think Braden's doing well so far.
I didn't call it mine. I just also put on the first for 6.
I had 8.1 early.
Oh?
They play. I know what I'm doing. So, how was that anything? I get 0. I would look at the league. I know I'm
Second that.
Yeah.
Good, good. He's there, he's got it. Second, and then second.
And still and I think
No, she doesn't keep it
what? Well, I think a lot of colors we actually use the same. It's just certain shade has a weight.
Oh, it's cosine?
I think like
Good.
whatever. Unless you love it.
I always get that. It's always just cos A right there. I still hit
Yeah, I feel like
No, they usually just put
What we got up here?
some people are starting to
Brandon, how did you get 81.3? Yeah, what?
Are you in radiant?
You have to follow right.
I do, we'll talk about it.
You have 3/4.
How's this look, everybody? Law cosines, right up here? Okay, with all that, remember to take the square root, that is a potential issue. All right, and then over here, we're finding angle A. So here's the setup, what do you think about that? I think that's perfect. I think that's perfect, so it looks like you did a little arithmetic.
Get some extra stuff.
Yo, if you can't do negatives, using this word,
He's good there.
it doesn't matter.
Oh, it is.
Down in the negative.
If you only put in the 3 numbers, I did everything. We put in every single digit.
So just round off.
Do you like this word? You get to the 1,000.
We learned earlier that you round off the
Are you
problem.
supposed to do 1,000?
You should just keep it in your calculus.
I got
So
81.7.
here's where the mistake was made.
Rounded. Oh.
We are not going to, I mean, it's okay to write this down as 40 over 280, that's fine. But don't make that a decimal. Because as soon as you make that a decimal and round it off, your angle's gonna be off. So what should we do instead? Not type this in by itself. We're going to second cosine that fraction. And then you'll get the answer without any round off. And does it make a difference? Yes, it does make a difference. Will you lose points? Yes, you
So
will.
we were all wrong. It's 80.4 over 1.
So if you did.
What?
No.
What am I talking about?
I don't know, it's 81.79.
No, Eli, Bruce Ford.
Oh, never mind. You're right.
Can you just, instead of doing the thing like that, is it okay if I divide and keep it in and just copy it in?
I don't go for steps. I go straight from here. Yeah.
But
You have
instead of,
many steps.
because you said don't divide the two, but I like to divide it and just keep it in.
Yeah, that's what
That's fine.
All right, so 81.79,
Yeah, I just thought you would.
81.79?
Yeah, that's good.
All right, so I promised you I would be done. You know what is ahead of you. And so therefore you can study or